Thank you for joining the Division of the Arts and proudly celebrating the outstanding achievements of our students, faculty, and staff in the creative arts. The distinguished honorees you'll hear about have excelled in the areas of creative inquiry and production, outreach, and professional excellence. They embody the exceptional range, quality, and diversity of creative arts at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
These awards would not be possible without the generosity of donors and supporters. The Anonymous Fund, the Joyce J. and Gerald A. Bartel family, Suzanne and Roberto Freund, the Bassett and Evu Foundations, the Enna Weekers Arts in Wisconsin Fund, Emily Nisley and Ruth and Hartley Barker, and the Division of the Arts.
This year, the Creative Arts Awards Selection Committee was thrilled to bestow 22 awards, including 6 new graduate student awards.
We thank the selection committee for the time and energy they invested in making these difficult and important decisions. The Studio Creative Arts Community is a residential learning community where 64 first-year students from a wide range of majors live and create together. Sponsored by the Division of the Arts, the Studio Creative Arts Awards recognize members of the Studio Creative Arts community for exceptional artistic projects and endeavors.
The Studio Creative Arts Award for Best Service Project goes to Reina Mayer Torres, undergraduate student, pre-music.
This award will be used to produce a free outdoor live music event on campus. The event will give music students paid performance opportunities and increase access for community members to free live music.
The Studio Creative Arts Award for Best Research Project goes to Azura Tayyubji, undergraduate student, English, creative writing, and sociology, and Jackson Neal, undergraduate student, English, creative writing, and dance, who will use the award to adapt a collection of their co-authored poems into video performances. Their research asks how the video presentation impacts the original poem's representations of queer identity within digital landscapes.
The Arts Business Competition is a campus-wide competition open to all majors to encourage new, innovative ideas. Students submit proposals for an arts event, exhibition, series, or another kind of artistic project, which are judged by members of the local arts and business community.
For the first time this year, audience members at the final live pitch event voted to award an additional prize to one of the finalist teams.
Arts Business Competition first prize goes to Trade Winds Ensemble, Midori Sampson, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead Witter School of Music. Trade Winds Ensemble is a group of teaching artists who offer music composition workshops for children in partnership with social impact organizations worldwide. They create innovative curricula, which integrates music and social work principles.
Arts Business Competition's second prize goes to Atelier Unlimited, James Harrington, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead Witter School of Music. Atelier Unlimited is a creative agency dedicated to equipping artists with the information and skills required to evolve their artistry, expand their influence, and create unique productions in live and virtual spaces.
Arts Business Competition third prize goes to History Tellers Breaking Borders, Grace Pimentel Sembulan, Master of Arts student, Southeast Asian Studies, Gioconda Coelho, Doctor of Philosophy student, Curriculum and Instruction History with a certificate in Culture, History, and Environment, and Qasim Hussein Rajab, Congolese leader of Madison Refugee Union. History Tellers Breaking Borders is a space for the reflective art of 5 African refugees who discuss the concerns and beauty of the worlds they make in diaspora. Their stories include photography, voice recordings, and creative writing, and will be curated in a virtual gallery. The Lyman S. V. Judson and Ellen McKechnie Judson Student Award in the Creative Arts is presented every other year to an undergraduate and graduate student in the creative arts who has made the greatest contribution to the field or fields of study covered. Starting in 2022, the Division of the Arts is pleased to offer the award on an annual basis.
The recipients of this award are Sarah Braley, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Timothy Yip, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead-Witter School of Music.
The David and Edith Seniko Frank Graduate Fellowship for a Woman in the Arts supports and encourages musicians, dancers, designers, artists, actors, and creative writers by providing them with an opportunity to present their work.
This year's recipients are Ava Shadmani, Doctor of Musical Arts student, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Lauren Brianna Ware, Doctor of Musical Arts student, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Established in 2020, the Graduate Student Creative Arts Awards supports artistic performances, exhibitions, readings, and research necessary to develop arts programming. The Graduate Student Creative Arts Awards are sponsored by the Anonymous Fund.
The recipients are Kwanda Johnson, Doctor of Philosophy candidate, Interdisciplinary Theater Studies.
Nick Moran, Master of Music student, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Anders Nienstadt, Master of Fine Arts candidate, Art Department.
Chris Rotmeyer, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Midori Sampson, Doctor of Musical Arts candidate, Mead-Witter School of Music.
Roberto Torres Mata, Master of Fine Arts candidate, Art Department.
The Edna Wiekers Arts in Wisconsin Award seeks to enrich cultural offerings and inspire future artists in Wisconsin communities underserved by the arts. The award supports faculty or staff in the creation and/or presentation of new or existing artworks across the state.
This year's recipient is Aaron Granat, Teaching and Learning Specialist, Department of Communication Arts.
I'm a teaching and learning specialist working with the Communication Arts Department, and I'm also the staff videographer for the Division of the Arts. Working for UW-Madison has enabled my creative practice and provided me opportunities that I couldn't even imagine if the situation had been different. I've been able to develop a network of creative people that I can collaborate with, and it has helped my creative practice evolve immeasurably. Aside from those roles on campus, I also do freelance media production, and I work with numerous organizations both on and off campus. My artistic practice is multifaceted, but the unifying thread is to push the boundaries of perception and to defamiliarize the ordinary. My practice also tends to be interdisciplinary and collaborative, bringing other artists into the fold and allowing them to contribute their unique aesthetic perspective. My work takes a range of forms. I've been involved in screen dance, documentary, feature filmmaking, experimental film, and the uncategorizable. Relatively recently, I've developed an interest in live visual performance, or VJing as some might call it, and I have performed these visuals at numerous venues in Madison and beyond, in collaboration with many musicians. In fact, in March of 2020, I had the pleasure of performing some visuals in the Madison Metropolitan School District's planetarium, with the accompaniment of You of All People, a band of experimental jazz musicians. I make my live visual compositions with a really cool software called Resolume. Essentially, I start with a collection of video clips or live video feeds, and the software allows me to trigger these video clips, layer them, and manipulate many different parameters all in real time. So I intend to use the award to develop a project with this live visual performance at the center. This project will bring together many artistic disciplines, such as fashion, the plastic arts, dance, music, and video. I'm currently working with Kit Caldwell, who is a part of the Fashion and Textile Design program here at the UW, And I'm also working with Ian Van D. Chandler, who is an MFA candidate here at the art department. I also intend to continue working with you of all people. The project will be founded on open-ended discussion and continual exploration of our practices in an attempt to see how they can synthesize into something greater. There's something so exciting about working with artists that I admire and growing our practices through an exploration of our shared interests. Thank you so much for this award. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, both the resources it provides and also the acknowledgement of the work that I've done. It means a lot that my vision is supported, and I feel empowered to develop my ideas further and maybe even take them into new territory.
The Joyce J. and Gerald A. Bartel Award in the Arts recognizes and honors the achievements of faculty and staff in the creative arts in areas of outreach, public service, and other activities involving the larger community.
The recipients of this award are Jen Plants, Faculty Associate, English Department.
Stories and our ability to tell them and draw meaning from them is what makes us human and what can make us better humans. And I believe that listening is a radical act. And I feel like the only place where those two things really come together is the theater and live performance. I'm more interested now in what stories do we have in our own community, as it actually is, that are not getting told, and how can we tell them in ways that are accessible. And one of the ways that I do that is by getting outside of a traditional theater or institutions. And so some of my work at the university has been about how do we make a project that reaches people about hunger and food insecurity in Madison, right? Who are the people that we need to connect with that aren't theater people? And so a lot of things that I try to do is to bring people together to recognize that they are doing work that is related to performance and how we can all work together for a common goal. A lot of my work is just really expanding people's notions of what a theatrical event can be. People are hungry for stories that feel connected to places that aren't institutions. And I think what we're abundant in is a lot of artists and creative people, many artists that are working on the fringes of performance who don't realize how much they have to give. And we just need some connective tissue to bring those folks together with audiences. I think there's so much exciting work going on in the shadows here in Madison, under the radar, and so much potential for great work that this award, because of its financial piece, allows me to bring some of those stories out of the shadows, things I would be unable to do otherwise, collaborations I would be unable to build in any other way. So I'm very, very grateful.
Ben Reiser, Wisconsin Film Festival Director of Operations, Department of Communication Arts.
I'm the Director of Operations and the head of the Wisconsin Zone Programming Committee for the Wisconsin Film Festival. And I'm also a programmer with UW Cinematech, which is part of the Department of Communication Arts within the College of Letters and Sciences here at UW-Madison. I received this award for some of my outreach efforts and initiatives for both of those programs. For the Wisconsin Film Festival, I helped start up an outreach program called Screens for Teens, where we bring films that we've shown in previous Wisconsin film festivals into high schools and middle schools throughout the state. And we get to show those films to students who otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity to see them. And whenever possible, we bring along with us a filmmaker to talk about the film that the students are seeing. I've also been a major part of our Big Screens Little Folks series within the Wisconsin Film Festival, which is a series of films that we present every year that are suitable for children of all ages. And this has been an extremely popular program. We wind up showing films to nearly 3,000 students every year at the festival. Another project that I helped create is the sneak peeks at Madison Public Libraries. We have been able to bring free of charge an hour's worth of trailers and sneak previews for films that we will be showing at an upcoming film festival. This has also been an extremely successful program. This past year, as we've had to adjust our entire operations both at Cinematheque and at the Wisconsin Film Festival and change everything so that we are presenting films online, one of the things that we have done is pivot from in-person guest filmmakers to recording podcasts with these filmmakers. And we intend to carry this podcasting format into the 2021 Wisconsin Film Festival. It's really provided me with so many opportunities to reach out into the community and to get to know fellow cinephiles in the community, as well as business people and all kinds of people who come every year for the festival. Getting to interact with them and to be part of their enjoyment of films from around the world has been an absolute delight. I just want to thank the Bartels and the Division of the Arts for making this possible. It means so much to me coming from the division where I've been working for the past 10 years. It's really great to have this recognition from those people that know me.
The Emily Mead Baldwin Award in the Creative Arts recognizes the achievements of a tenured member of the arts faculty and provides general research support.
This year's recipients are Daniel Graboy, Associate Professor, Mead-Witter School of Music.
I am the Associate Professor of Horn in the Mead-Witter School of Music here at UW-Madison. My big solo recording project that I did as an assistant professor prior to getting tenure ended up being a CD recording called Air Names. It was a recording of music that I wrote for horn altered by electronics. So it came out and a year or two passed and I decided that I really ought to make Fire Names next. It's a piece for horn, unaltered, just this regular sound of the horn, and accompanied by an electronic recording, a tape. So then when I heard about the Baldwin grant, I decided that since we have air names and fire names, it really makes sense to have water names and earth names be the next two discs. To me, earth names has to be grounded. This can't be rock and roll French horn. This earth names has to be something serious. Water names to me feels like just pure creativity. Whatever comes to me, hopefully gets shaped into some kind of coherence, and that will end up as that recording. I am absolutely thrilled to receive this award. A university is such a special place in so many ways because it brings together people who do research, who do performance, who study many, many different subjects and areas and disciplines. And it funds their research. It enables them to go on flights of imagination as part of their job. We are asked, please be creative. Please make stuff. Please step out of what is normal and do something new. Please, oh, you have an idea? We would love you to develop that idea, and we will help you. Do you need funding for some resources? Here's some funding. And the Emily Mead Baldwin Award is exactly such a thing.
Mark Hetzler, Professor, Mead-Witter School of Music.
I'm a professor of trombone and a professor of music in the Mead-Witter School of Music here on the UW-Madison campus. I play in a musical group here in Madison that is called Mr. Chair. It is myself and my three colleagues, Jason Kutz, piano, Ben Ferris, bass, Mike Koshevsky, drums. They're all alumni of our School of Music, and they're also co-collaborators on the project that we're about to embark on. While we were working on our first album, which was released in September of 2019, we collaborated with actually a then student at the time who just graduated in May, a student named DeQuadre James White. He was a member of the First Wave Scholarship Program and did a lot of amazing things, not only on our campus, but in our city. DeQuadre graduated in May, moved back to his home city of Atlanta in Georgia, and then just about 5-6 months ago reached out to us with the concept for a complete new album, and then it became apparent this is going to be an amazing way to collaborate, bring his musical life into focus. He's essentially writing all the lyrics and quite a few of the melodies, and then we're actually composing all the music, doing all the orchestrations. And this project's going to go way beyond the musical styles that I've worked on in the past. The title of the project is pretty wild. It's called Spectaculous, and it's essentially about an interdimensional character that DeQuadre created, named Spectaculous, who visits Earth, becomes enchanted with the human sort of comedy tragedy experience, delves into it, and then finds ways to engage with it to achieve a higher self. To be able to work with a recent alumni for me is exciting. As I go through each year and I work each year with new students who come to our campus, I feel like I learn as much, if not much more, than the students that I teach. And this is another example of that. I'm so pleased and also so thankful to the people who support the arts and these amazing awards. It makes our life and our job and our research here just so deep and rich and meaningful. I wouldn't want to move out of this city and state and go anywhere else. It's all right here, and we're taking those resources and broadcasting out to the greater state and world beyond.
Michael Peterson, Professor, Art Department and Graduate Program Director, Interdisciplinary Theater Studies.
I'm a professor in the Department of Art. I'm also the director of an MA and PhD program called Interdisciplinary Theater Studies. I teach a variety of courses in the art department, mostly in the area we call 4D. My creative practice is really almost entirely developed out of the sense of artistic and broader intellectual community on campus and the greater Madison area. The arts faculty on campus here are fantastic, and I've really felt embraced by people who do very different work than I do, who are willing to engage with us and talk about our work. I would also say the students have been a major influence on my work. I've been very fortunate to be able to do a lot of creative teaching and really have pushed my own thinking about what art is and what art can be through interacting with my students. All art needs an audience, but the work that I do really requires people who are actively interested in the arts. Being able to work in this community of such a vibrant collection of people interested in the arts is priceless. What I'll probably use this award for primarily will be work with the arts group that I founded called Spatula and Barcode. And we are a social practice arts group, we would say, which really just means that we make art out of social interaction. We're actually well underway with a project called COVID Foodways, which is kind of a sequel to some projects we've done in the past working on how people do food. And we became very interested during the pandemic in how people were doing food and how their understanding of food systems had been heightened by things like shortages and food being in the news in terms of the supply chain and the problems that producers and distributors were facing. So we began basically a social science research project with some collaborators at an environmental institute in Uruguay. Our part of COVID Foodways will be a series of participatory discussions around food. We've been doing some of those online recently, but we're planning to do some in person when that is possible. And one of the things that we're looking at are different ways to share that knowledge, the more subjective knowledge about food that we're gathering from people, and archiving that as a cultural record of life during the pandemic. So some of that will include video, a website, possibly some podcasting. So we may spend some of my award on equipment, certainly some on support staff in terms of video production and editing. Thank you for this Creative Arts Award. It means so much to me. The funds will make my work possible on a scale that they wouldn't have been otherwise. I have deep respect for my colleagues in the arts here on campus, and the recognition is just a tremendous lift of the spirit.
Funded by the generosity of the Bassett and Evu Foundations, the Creative Arts Award recognizes the achievements of a tenured arts faculty member and provides general research support.
This year's recipient is Darcy Padilla, Associate Professor, Art Department.
I'm a photographer with a specialty in documentary photography and extensive background in photojournalism. My research explores struggle and the transgenerational effects. It is informed by the social, cultural, political landscape in America. I focus on personal and social issues in my art practice and use long-form narrative photography with an interdisciplinary approach, working with images, text, sound, and video. I believe in the idea of concerned photography. My longest-term research developed out of my AIDS projects in the 1990s when I met a young mother with HIV. I photographed Julie and her family for 21 years. This project examines social issues surrounding poverty, drugs, sexual abuse through one person's life. Other research projects include a long-term study on the Oglala Lakota of Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, a project on the Northern California wildfires, and a project on income inequality and the increasing impossibility of the American dream. My work continues my interest on struggle and the transgenerational effects, and in a way, resilience and hope. For the Creative Arts Awards, I am working on a series of photographic essays to document the COVID-19 pandemic aftermath, photographing the challenges facing Americans at this particular time in history. The work will tell the story of people around the country who are coping with this profound social and economic disparity. This project is inspired by the iconic photographers Dorothea Lange, Walker Evans, and Gordon Parks, among others, who were hired by the Farm Security Administration to document the experience of Americans during the Great Depression and World War II. While we yearn to return to normal, it is important to remember that for many, their lives are forever changed. Like the Farm Security Administration photographers, my goal is to create a visual resource that looks at America at this critical time and leaves an historic record. I would like to thank the art supporters for this award and all other awards and grants that are available here at UW. As artists, we are determined to do work we believe in, and the opportunity afforded by this award is encouraging, not only to do research that is new, but to do research that is lasting.